The US government subpoenaed FIFA 2 weeks before a single ball was kicked. Not a complaint, not a strongly worded letter, a subpoena, a legal demand to the most powerful body in world sport. The World Cup hadn't started, and FIFA was already lawyering up on multiple fronts at once. Here's what nobody is saying out loud on opening day. The biggest sporting event in human history just arrived on American soil. 6 billion people about to watch in real time, and it is, structurally, coming apart at the seams before kickoff. So I did something simple. I went looking for every separate documented crisis already hanging over this tournament. Legal ones, financial ones, the ones happening inside the host's own locker room. I stopped counting at 9. Some are single events. Some are pairs of facts that belong together. All of them are real, and all of them are documented. Stick with me to the end, and I'll give you all 9. And the single one that should terrify FIFA more than the rest combined. Let's start where it always falls apart first. The money. You already know the headline. Dynamic pricing. Final tickets brushing $1,000. Families staring at 5-figure trips to watch a group stage match. That part went viral months ago. But here's what changed. The outrage stopped being a hashtag and became a courtroom problem. The Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, and the Attorney General of New Jersey, Jennifer Davenport, opened a joint investigation into how these tickets were sold. And when investigators pulled the data, here's what they found. Between October and April, FIFA raised prices on more than 90 of the 104 matches. The 3 main ticket categories climbed an average of 34%. That's not a tweak. That's a systematic repricing of an event millions of people had budgeted for years in advance. But the price isn't even the part that could force refunds. It's the seats. Fans paid premium money for specific premium seats. Then, according to the investigators, FIFA quietly created brand new high-priced zones, relabeled them, and moved early buyers to worse locations. Some people who paid for Category 1 found themselves shifted toward the back or behind the goal, so the good seats could be resold as corporate hospitality. New Jersey's Attorney General called it, and I'm not paraphrasing, an invitation to exploit. The investigation centers on the 8 matches at MetLife Stadium, including the final on July 19th. Now, here's the part most coverage missed. It isn't 2 states, it's 4. California's Attorney General, Rob Bonta, sent FIFA his own formal demand for answers. And then, just days before kickoff, Texas opened a separate investigation of its own. New York, New Jersey, California, Texas. 2 blue states, 2 red states, all circling the same governing body in the same week. When New York, New Jersey, and Texas agree on something, you are not looking at a partisan stunt. You are looking at a problem. That's the legal front. But the money story doesn't stop at the gate. Because while America was subpoenaing FIFA, one of FIFA's own co-hosts was quietly getting handed a $1 billion tab it never signed up for. For months, Canadians were told co-hosting the World Cup was a smart, reasonable investment in the country. Then, their own budget watchdog published the real number, and it landed like a bucket of cold water. Canada's Parliamentary Budget Officer found that hosting just 13 matches, 7 in Vancouver, 6 in Toronto, will cost Canadian governments $1.066 billion. Bloomberg converted that for the rest of us, roughly 800 million US. Break it down per game, and it's about $82 million per match. The federal government covers $473 million of that. The rest, almost $600 million, lands on the provinces and cities of Ontario and British Columbia. Budgets that were never designed to absorb a shock like this. And here's the clause that makes it worse. FIFA does not cover cost overruns. That line does not exist in a FIFA hosting agreement. The host city takes the risk. FIFA takes the revenue. So when the bill landed, no ceiling, no FIFA backstop, Toronto and Vancouver ate it alone. The backlash in Canada was immediate, and it wasn't abstract. People asked out loud why $1 billion is being routed to a month of football while the country is in a genuine crisis over housing costs and hospital capacity. Those aren't side issues in Canada right now. They are the two issues. And $1 billion FIFA bill is a very hard thing to explain to a voter who can't find a family doctor. And here's the number that makes the Canadian bill look like a rounding error. Because while Canada was footing a $1 billion tab, one single country quietly captured more than half of the entire commercial upside. I'll tell you which one in 30 seconds, but subscribe first so the rest of this tournament's untold side keeps showing up in your feed, because it only gets uglier from here. So Canada puts in $1 billion. Here's what Canada gets back, commercially. 0. Analysts who tracked the sponsorship money found that US-based corporations now control 52% of FIFA's projected $2.4 billion sponsorship pool for this tournament. At Qatar 2022, American brands were 36%. They've exploded. And the number of sponsor companies based in Canada, one of the 3 official co-hosts? 0. Mexico, the other co-host? Also 0. DoorDash, Bank of America, Visa, Coca-Cola. American names have captured nearly the entire commercial upside of a tournament that 3 nations are paying to host. Say it plainly. Canada put in more than $1 billion. Canadian provinces eat the overruns FIFA refuses to cover. American corporations take the lion's share of the profit. FIFA supplies the flags. That's not a partnership. That's a subsidy with a handshake. The host gets the flags in the wind moment. The American corporate machine gets the revenue that keeps coming long after the stadium's empty. And that's the money. But a World Cup isn't supposed to be about money. It's supposed to be about the team. So let's talk about the team that was meant to make all of this make sense. And the man who's supposed to be leading it. This was supposed to be the emotional payoff. 30 years of investment in American soccer finally validated, with the men's national team hosting the world and proving it all meant something. Instead, in a warm-up meant to build confidence, the United States lost 5-2 to Belgium. 5-2. That alone was rough, but what happened next is hard to overstate. Reporting emerged that the representatives of the head coach, Maurizio Pochettino, had been in contact with AC Milan about their vacant manager's job. The same AC Milan that had just fired their previous manager. The draw was done, the players were preparing, and the coach's agents were in contact with a club in Europe about that opening. When a reporter asked Pochettino directly whether his people had met with Milan, he didn't deny it. He shrugged it off. His agents have to do their job, and pointed to the end of his contract in July after the World Cup. That's not a denial. That's a man who has mentally already turned the page and is just waiting for the calendar to let him make it official. US Soccer's CEO was asked the same thing. He couldn't give a flat no either. He talked about being excited about the next 4 years. Read that again. It's entirely future tense. It says nothing about right now, about the most important tournament in the program's history, on home soil. If that makes you angry, you're not alone, and it gets worse. And here's the detail that turns this from awkward into dysfunctional. The sporting director who hired Pochettino, Matt Crocker, already left. In April, weeks before kickoff, he resigned to take a job with Saudi Arabia, the nation hosting the next World Cup. So the man who built this setup walked out the door to go help the competition, while the coach he hired is eyeing the exit, while the team gets thrown together for a home World Cup. There's something almost cruel in it for American soccer fans. The story was supposed to be about a rival, the 5-2 loss, the coach whose reps were already talking to Milan, the sporting director already gone to the next host. None of it fits that story. A great tournament could still rewrite it, but nothing about the build-up suggests they're ready to deliver one. But here's the thing. We haven't even touched the 2 crises that hit before the teams flew in. One nearly cost a host city the money to keep its matches safe. The other caused an international incident, and it hasn't even been played yet. Keep that number in mind. We're well past half of it now. The ticketing system is under legal investigation in 4 states. The co-hosts are absorbing a fortune in public money, while American brands take the profit. And it still gets stranger, because before the first whistle, American host cities nearly had no money to pay for the security around it. $625 million Congress promised them, frozen for months. Why? A government shutdown fight in Washington over immigration enforcement that left the agency's grant staff sidelined. Cities were planning security for a 104-match mega event with no confirmed federal money, some staring down cancellation risk. It finally cleared on May 14th, 28 days before the opening match. And even then, only as a reimbursement. Spend first, claim later. And then there's a fixture that caused an international incident before anyone touched a ball. The group stage draw, random by the way, produced Egypt versus Iran. The 2 nations in the entire group stage where homosexuality is illegal under national law. And that match falls in Seattle on June 26th, in the middle of the city's long-running Pride Festival. Both governments formally objected. Egypt's Football Association said flatly it rejects any activity supporting homosexuality around the match. Iran's federation condemned it too. So the one fixture pure chance could produce that was guaranteed to ignite a diplomatic firestorm, chance produced it. And it lands in the one city guaranteed to make it louder. 2 governments, 1 match. And it hasn't even been played yet. That detail is almost too revealing, because it captures exactly how this whole tournament operates, capable of generating enormous money and enormous self-inflicted damage at the same time, often from the very same decision. And we still haven't mentioned the heat. More than 1/3 of the matches are projected to be played above the temperature sports scientists consider safe for professional play. Only 3 of 16 stadiums are fully climate-controlled. The rest? Afternoon sun. So where does all of this actually go? FIFA will almost certainly settle at least one of those state investigations before the knockout rounds begin. A live legal case running in parallel with the final at MetLife is a PR catastrophe they cannot afford. Not with the next round of sponsorship negotiations already on the horizon. Any settlement will almost certainly include some kind of refund mechanism for the fans whose seats were moved. And quietly, it will set a precedent. That dynamic pricing at this scale, on something people buy years ahead, triggers consumer protection law. That precedent will reshape how every major American event prices a ticket for the next generation. Pochettino almost certainly separates from the program after the group stage, whatever the results. The question of who replaces him and whether US soccer can attract anyone with real ambition when the structure around the job is this visibly unstable will define the program's next cycle. And Canada becomes the case study. $1 billion hosting bill, 0% of the sponsorship revenue, and a public backlash that crossed party lines. The next time a coalition of countries considers co-hosting with the United States, they'll ask one simple question. Canada put in $1 billion and walked away with nothing commercially. So what exactly does that partnership buy? Right now, there is no good answer. And the tournament has only been running for a day. So let's settle up. The number I promised you. 9. 1. 4 states formally investigating the ticketing. 2. A 34% price hike and seats sold, then quietly moved. 3. $1 billion Canadian bill with a $0 FIFA contribution. 4. 52% of the sponsorship money captured by one of the 3 hosts. 5. A 5-2 collapse to Belgium. 6. A head coach whose agents shopped him to Milan, and a sporting director who left for the next host. 7. Security money frozen until 28 days out. 8. A fixture that triggered 2 government protests before kickoff. And 9. A third of the matches scheduled in dangerous heat. 9 documented crises before a single goal. And the one that should scare FIFA most? It isn't the coach. It isn't even the heat. It's the precedent. Because a coach gets replaced and a heat wave passes, but the moment 4 US states established that a World Cup can be dragged into consumer protection court, the most powerful body in sport lost something it's never really had to worry about on this continent before. Accountability. 6 billion people are about to watch this tournament unfold in real time. They'll draw their own conclusions about what American institutional capacity actually looks like when the whole world is watching. The World Cup is here, and every single story that arrived before it points in the same direction. Here's my real question for you, and I want it in the comments. 9 crises before a single goal. Which one do you blame FIFA for, and which one do you blame the United States for? Drop both lists below. And if you had the ticket and the money, would you still go?